You wake up and you immediately turn off the alarm. Right before you fall back into sleep, you remember that yesterday you promised yourself to wake up early and go to the gym. But right now, you don't really feel like it. You feel like going back into sleep. Now, entire 4 hours later, you wake up again. It's already 10 AM. Yet you still feel like a vegetable. You don't really feel like getting out of bed. You'd rather grab your phone and no, you start scrolling on TikTok and Instagram. Now, while scrolling, you see a bunch of beautiful girls. And you have to do something about it. Instead of getting out of bed, you bust a nut. Or maybe even two. Now, 2 hours later, and it already being 12 AM, you finally get out of bed. Half of the day is gone, yet you just got out of bed. Isn't it a shitty way to live? It absolutely is. And that's why today I'm gonna talk about the importance of nofap. Now, nofap isn't the only key to discipline. There are also other things like, for example, sleep and good habits. But I believe that nofap is the most important one because it connects the other habits. How does it do that? It does it with motivation. And when you lack motivation, and I talked about this in my previous video, you become a fat, lazy fuck. I'm sorry for the word, but you know what I mean. And if you don't know, go and watch my other video. Now, why motivation? Well, sex is very important in our lives, and that's why our bodies build up a lot of energy in order to put us in a state of readiness for sex. Now, with this energy, you have two choices. One of them is busting a nut. The other one is transmutating this energy in order to get insane level of motivation. Now, I'm talking insane levels because you really get a hunger for sex. And I'll give you an example out of my life where I experienced that. I was at my local gym. And it's a big sport complex where there is even an arena where they play a bunch of sports. And so I was working on my dropshipping store, whilst on the right of me there was a window separating me and the arena. On the arena, there were a bunch of cheerleaders who were training for the evening match. And man, I couldn't take my eyes off of them. My eyes were literally glued to their assets. Like, it was just crazy. And my friend who was also nofap, just on a beginner stage, he also experienced that. We just couldn't take our eyes over them. I couldn't even work because I was constantly looking out at those girls. What I found out is that I was hypersensitive to, I'd say, females. Something that didn't happen when I used to masturbate regularly. Now, I believe that happened because of what I call a sex hunger. Because I was so hungry for this feeling. And now, obviously, I couldn't have sex with them, but what I could do is I could work on myself in order to put me in a position where I can. This is actually the whole idea of the motivation that you get for nofap. You get the motivation in order to work on yourself, in order to put you in a position where you can get those things that you wanted in the first place. Therefore, if you really want to improve yourself, the first thing you need to do is to gradually stop masturbating. I also talked about this in my previous video. When I speak gradually stop, I mean exponentially increase the amount of time you don't masturbate. So say you start at 3 days, then you go to 4 days, then you go to 5 days, then you go to a week and a half, 2 weeks, a month, and so on. I believe that is the easiest way to stop, and it's only going to be hard in the beginning, but once you reach about 2 weeks, it's going to be easy. Now, whilst you're doing that, you have to start improving your sleep. When I talk improving your sleep, I mean not only sleeping 8 hours a day, but also going to bed and waking up consistently at the same time. I also talked about this in one of my first videos. All the links are in the description, by the way. So make sure you start working on your sleep and also making good habits. Now, about habits, there's actually a very good book I read. I'll bring it on the screen now. It's called Atomic Habits, and it's actually about how you can make good habits and break bad habits. I really recommend you read it. And speaking of books, the last thing I want you to do is to start getting the right information, mainly from books, but also, for example, YouTube. On YouTube, there's a bunch of self-improvement YouTubers I recommend. For example, Hamza and First Man. I really recommend you watch them. And if you do all of the above things, I believe you will get there. And I will get there as well. and I see you in another video. Bye.